please.
I got it.
Um,
A little closer.
We have an agenda. Can we approve the agenda? Is that-
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. The approval of the minutes.
I have a correction
Okay.
in the minutes.
Oh, you do?
I do. I'm sorry.
That's good.
I do not remember on the minutes. It wasn't me who said there was no report on education committee. I think that was Carol, but it wasn't me.
So,
No, Carol Murphy. So, whoever.
move to approve, to
Otherwise.
edit the minutes?
Yes. Second.
Second. It's been approved to edit the minutes. You understood? Thank you. Any other discussion about the minutes? Was that all you had?
That was all.
Nope.
Okay, introductions, everybody in the room? Everybody want to say hello to each other?
From the last time?
We'll start right there.
Sure. I'm Gene Zuppel. This is my second meeting. I'm happy to be here. I'm sure that Chris is going to talk about our trip up to DC in a little bit, so very fun.
I'm Diane Vogie, I represent District 10, and I have been on the board forever except for Pam and Carol, who have been on, and well, obviously Jean too has also been on longer. So I guess I'm just not that.
Yes, you are. I'm Pam Floyd.
Ford Bartholow, District 7.
Chris Campbell,
Chair.
District 1.
I'm Jean Frew, District 11.
Hope Cunningham, District 4.
Victoria Hoffman. Paula Brown, County Council District 8.
Jesus Rodriguez, Litter Control and Dr. Highway Coordinator.
Sergeant Matt McVaney, Beaufort County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you all for coming. Our subcommittee updates. Do we have anything on it?
I have a slight correction. I'm not on any of the committees.
You're not on any of the committees?
That are, the list that was sent out. Diane's not listed on any of the.
Which committee would you like to be on?
Well, I was on legislative.
We'll add you back to legislative. That'd be all right?
That's fine.
And a correction, I was not supposed to be on education, and they have me on education.
Okay, where would you like to be?
I'm on another one, I'm on beautification, which is what
Okay.
I wanted to be on.
Could you take a note of those two things, and we'll give it to Victoria when we're.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did we decide that everybody should be on 2 committees? I can't remember that.
We talked about that.
Yeah, we did, I
So-
think we did.
There's not enough, yeah.
Would you have any objection to being on 2 committees?
No, in which case,
No.
I'll take Pam's spot on education. The spot that you aren't supposed to be on.
It just helps strengthen the committees a little bit when.
Okay, I'll figure out which one I want to be on. I was originally going to be on finance, and there's 4 on finance, so I don't know.
Jesus, have you got anything any updates on your litter patrols and your
His update's gonna come under staff update.
staff updates?
Yeah, this is your subcommittee time.
Okay.
He'll do his update under new business staff update.
So you got appointment of chair, appointment of co-chair,
Not just go with staff.
We do have to point.
chair of what? Thought you were the chair.
So,
That's
moving on
under new
to
business. We're
legislative,
still
or do we
here.
have anything for education and litter enforcement?
I don't, excuse me, Ford was talking to me for a second. What did you just say?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know if there were any notes that we needed to take for, section 5, subsection A, education and litter enforcement.
I don't think we've met on any of these subjects. We've sort of been, have we? We haven't had any, we had a little meeting amongst a small group of us, but it was mostly discussion about the budget.
Okay.
So I'm embarrassed to say that we haven't really had any discussions on, we've had discussions on litter control, but not litter enforcement. Anything on legislative, have we done?
No, not that I have anyway. Does anybody else have anything?
Does Washington relate to legislative at all? Your trip to Washington?
You know, I can certainly discuss that, or I'd like to let Gene discuss that. It would be a good discussion.
So, okay, just to answer your question, was Washington have anything to do with
Well, was there a
legislation?
relationship to the legislative
No.
issues? Nothing?
No, not really. I mean, we talked to the congressman, who's the last guy we talked to, the last congressman we talked to?
Joe.
Wilson,
Yeah.
yeah, and nice conversation, but
That's it?
very, yeah, 15 minutes, chat with 8 people in the room kind of a thing. No, it wasn't, the event was really not talking about legislation, it was a national event.
Mhm.
They did ask, Joe asked, is there any ask that we have? We can go to him with an ask. If we want to push some legislation, or we're concerned about something, we can do that. And he opened the door for us to do that. Matter of fact, all 4 of the folks that we went to talk to made that same offer.
These are state or federal or
So
U.S.
2
representatives?
2 senators' offices.
Okay, state
that-
senators?
No, federal.
These are federal, okay.
Yep, yep,
Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott,
Okay.
yep.
we went to their offices. And then on the House side, we went to Nancy Mace
Nancy Mace.
and
Joe Wilson.
Joe.
Wilson.
Wilson, okay.
Yep. So you want to just do a high-level rundown of the conference and what that was all about?
Is this a time, would this be a time to discuss that?
Okay, you want to start or you want me to start?
Go ahead and, I'll do.
Or chip in, either way.
We were at the National Keep America Beautiful Conference. Beaufort County was nice enough to pay for, or ask us, and it came out of our money too, by the way, our little budget.
Yeah.
And then Gene expressed an interest to go, which to me was fabulous, if you want to go, yeah, let's go. And so we went up, and my wife went too. We paid for that in-house, ourselves, but we had a really experience up there with all these people. I'd say there were 300 people there, if not more,
Almost 400.
from all over the country that do the same thing that we
Hey, Chris,
do.
can you talk into the microphone so we can hear you back here?
So,
That's better.
there we go. 400 people from all over the country, and like-minded people doing exactly what we do, and the biggest conversation was litter. So we had committee meetings, discussions, first couple of days, and then on our third day was it? I think it was the third day that we, Keep America Beautiful has this, what would you call it?
I brought the flyer with me.
Yeah.
I should have made copies, but didn't, because we just got back from the airport. It's called Join the Greatest American Cleanup.
Yeah.
So the Great American Cleanup, we've been part of before, I presume, right? The Keep America Beautiful folks in Washington wanted to rebrand it for next year, to call it the Greatest American Cleanup. And the concept is to ask everybody to take a pledge, and everybody in this room hopefully will do that, to pick up 250 pieces of litter over the next 18 months. So that, exactly. But the idea really is we ask the senators and the congresspeople to do the same thing. Take the pledge, take a picture, get more people to do it. So that was kind of, I think, the kind of the flavor of the entire conference was trying to line up, what are we going to do for the 250th anniversary
Yeah.
of the country,
Yeah,
right?
the anniversary of America
Yeah.
is next July.
Next July.
250 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So their whole thing is, we're gonna clean up this country
Yep,
before we have the big party.
yep.
And it was really kind of cool.
Make another mess.
So 250 pieces of litter, really, frankly, in my world, that's not very much, but that's the pledge, and we want everybody to take it. They want 25,000 communities in America to pledge to pick up. And then that would equate to something like
They say
3 million pounds of
they-
litter or something if everybody picks up that little bit, so.
their target is 25 billion pieces of litter to
Yeah.
be picked up. Just simple math is really what they're doing.
Right.
But it was pretty good. I mean, I was encouraged by the enthusiasm, and South Carolina was probably the second most attended state of any other state.
Yeah, we had a bunch,
25
a whole
people. We had
gang
25
of people from South Carolina. It was fun.
All throughout the Midlands, the upstate, everywhere. That was great. Tennessee had 27, I think, but I think they cheated because Department of Transportation
Stuck
made a
few-
blanket permission that they would pay for it. And so all kinds of people came that, you wouldn't normally see at that kind of a conference. I'm being a little facetious there, of course. But yeah, South Carolina was in great stead. It was really a great introduction for me, meeting so many different people. And everybody does this thing a little differently. Every community you go into, the structure's different. Some are nonprofits, some are 100% public. It's just really intriguing how it's all set up. But it's a good conference. We went to one session that was cigarette butt eliminating cigarette butts. And I went to it thinking, is there that much to it? Is it really worth spending an hour talking about it? Oh my goodness. It was huge. It was huge, and it was really interesting. I think they did a terrific job. They've got all kinds of programs to give us cigarette butt containers we can hang in any places we want. There's one of the companies will recycle those butts and pay us $1 for every pound that we give to them, and the flyers are free. I mean, they're really trying to do a lot of interesting things, but kind of expand that concept of a lot of energy on one subject, and that happened again and again throughout the several days. So,
Exciting.
It was exciting.
yeah.
But it all goes back to the birthday of America. And so they want to try, and then our mission with all the senators and the Congress people were the four that we saw. Now, the whole 400 people all went to different, their home congresses. So, I mean, they covered that building, every state. But we were just the South Carolina peoples, but our job was to go in and like we didn't get to talk to Lindsey Graham, but his #1 guy was there, and he was really interesting. And I said, well, and we all said it, but we'd like for Lindsey to pick up 250 pieces of litter if he wouldn't mind. And it was fun, but and he said, yeah, I'll try to get him to do it. So, and the same thing.
Golf course, I'm sure he'll be happy to get the styrofoam cup.
Yeah, the styrofoam.
They all
cups.
count. They all count.
And the
But it was the
plastic
same
straws.
with everyone we visited. It was all about, we'd like to get you to sign the pledge. But that Joe was the best.
Yeah.
He our congressman.
Joe Wilson?
Joe Wilson, yeah.
What's it? Wilson? Yeah.
Wilson, yep.
Nice guy.
Yep.
We'll look into the pledge and the campaigns and see what we can implement here.
Well, so we'll further that here. We've got some time. I mean, it's not until next year, but it may be something we could talk about on Earth Day.
And that was something I wanted to mention. So the Earth Day cleanup that the county is currently planning, does every year, because of our KAB affiliate, we registered that as an annual Great American Cleanup. So part of your affiliation checklist requirements is to host one of those Great American Cleanups each year, and that's what we do for Earth Day.
If I may, can you share that checklist with us in our SharePoint, on our SharePoint, so
The
that we?
checklist, I will, and when I have access to it.
Uh-huh.
So Chloe McGuigan, our recycling coordinator, she oversees your KAB affiliation, and she is currently on 12 weeks maternity leave. So if I can find her access into that account, I will. If not, we'll have to wait until she returns. So I've already looked for it, but that's something that is under her purview for her position. So we delegate tasks. So I don't have the access to get onto our KAB account right now. I did attempt to get it, but I saw your email. But I think you should have gotten in contact with our KAB affiliates, both from Palmetto Pride and Mallory. I forget what's Mallory's name. She's
Coffee.
Coffee. She used
Yep.
to do Palmetto Pride, now she was KAB. I forwarded a message that linked all of you, so you should have been able to get in contact with them.
But
Okay, I
she's
haven't
been
seen it.
tied up, I can tell you, for a couple of weeks.
Mallory?
Mallory, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. she-
I'll double check that, but I did send that message to kind of post your meeting, and you can ask her questions that don't have all of that as well.
Okay,
They
thanks.
told us, Victoria, that the KAB Hub was a great resource, but you have to have access to it.
Mhm.
Is there any reason why the board here can't have access to it as well?
No, there's absolutely no reason, just because the county has
Yep.
overseen keeping you in affiliation, but if you guys would like to take that over, then we can definitely transfer it over.
So what I think a good first step might be just share it. So we'll just both do it, and then as we think about our plans for next year, we can talk about, whether that's something we actually want to take over.
Okay.
But if you could share that to everyone on the board, the number of times they said, that's on the hub, it was amazing. There's videos, there's presentations, there's strategy documents, there's all kinds of material that we might take advantage of that I can't see. And I feel like I need to see, because I want to learn about what it's all about. So I think that'd be very helpful.
Well,
Okay.
so we
Yes.
can get that.
I'm gonna go and hold that baby soon, so
Okay.
maybe if Chloe is looking like she's feeling okay, I'll ask her about a password and login
Okay.
information. But she is on 12 weeks maternity leave, so I apologize. I know it's not exactly the greatest time. The week that you asked was the day she's in labor.
Yeah, but we all hope the best for Chloe. I mean, come on.
Judy to Chloe.
Yeah.
So we'll get it to you though. I mean, she's got the login and she oversees your KAB affiliation. But it's simple things like hosting that annual cleanup event, reporting your litter totals, so what all of you do, what Jesus is doing, and then of course paying the annual dues and fees, and then just a couple of other things. There's a governance report that we have to pull from Beaufort County Sheriff's Office. So just a little checklist, a lot of data, and then of course fees for your.
That was one of the questions that came up. What is the fee?
The fee is, I would say it's nothing crazy, $475 a year,
Oh, okay.
something like that, around about. I could be wrong though.
Okay.
So, I wanna say it's
But-
about $475, and that's what we have requested from Palmetto Pride in the past, is to cover those fees.
Got it.
So typically we have grant funds that cover it.
Okay. But you got the ball on that. Make sure we pay our dues at the
You're
right time.
good.
Okay.
You're good.
Thank you for that,
We didn't know how to do
Victoria.
that.
You're an active affiliate, we make
Okay.
it's
You know, I've-
important, but I would love to definitely give you access to that and
Please.
Hub Pass, 'cause it's not in my purview, I'm managing the department, and then Chloe, her task is to
Okay.
just make sure you guys continue with your affiliation. So I definitely think that's a resource that you guys can use, and so we'll make sure that we work to get you access to it.
Wonderful.
Yes, wonderful.
Yeah, Victoria, do you have the date for the cleanup in
Earth Day?
April? Yeah,
Yes.
yes, please.
Thursday, the 24th.
It's a Friday.
That would be the 25th.
It's not, it's the 25th.
That's March, April.
April.
We got some time, yeah.
25th. I believe it's in the packet, yeah, there's a, annual Beaufort County Earth Day event, April 25th. I think it was in the packet from last month.
I got an email too, so,
Education coordinator report, that's Valentine's updates.
Okay.
So, could I make a comment?
yes.
So, I think the 250 pieces of litter is a really neat kind of way to do that celebration. And I can assure you that one volunteer in less than an hour on our beaches can pick up
Yeah.
250
Yeah.
cigarette butts. It is our #1 litter in the United States. And so I would think that I would challenge our legislators to, where this is treating symptoms, then when we need to begin to get a little bit more serious about cause. And, we seem to always draw back whenever anything's being enacted. And we need, if they're truly invested in supporting us, then we need to, reexamine how we're protecting this coast and these communities that are so vital to the economy of this state. Because we're losing the war with styrofoam and straws and cigarette butts and plastic bags. And we're actually moving a little bit backwards. And I can assure you that, we're on the battle lines on Hilton Head and in Bluffton doing our best. And certainly these initiatives raise awareness, which is amazing. And we get people to do tangible types of things, which are always educational, I think. But, it's it's like putting a Band-Aid on it when you have these type of events. And we just took the initiative as the Outside Foundation to declare every day as Earth Day. And so we would like to challenge and raise those statements. How do we, as a state, our senators, our representatives, how do we as a state intend to move forward in protecting our coastline and reducing litter? Because picking up litter is not reducing litter. Obviously, when areas are less littered, we do know through research that people are less likely to litter. But if you drive 170, it's just this ridiculous constant battle. So
Constant battle.
it's really, really hard. And with, not a whole lot of money for investment in patrol, from one person and a small staff, this is never gonna work.
I think we opened the door to start that conversation, but most critically, we need something to say,
Yeah,
right? It can't just be, let's have a chat.
yep,
It's gotta be,
Yep.
here's what we'd like to propose.
Yep.
And maybe the Palmetto Pride folks were wonderful to work with,
yeah,
if we're talking about a state-level conversation. But I did not sense that conversation was happening. So that might be
At
something.
what level?
At the state level,
I-
at Palmetto Pride level.
Yeah, I
I didn't
agree.
sense it. It could be, because we didn't spend the whole conference with those people. But it was not a conversation around, what is Beaufort County team doing to support this state initiative of getting new legislation? That conversation never happened. I think we should, but we need to, spend some time thinking through what is it we want to say, and then what's the mechanism to make that happen?
Well, on that note, and we are discussing legislative, and Ms. McPhee isn't here. She's been working with Alice Howard and other members of the county who are in the workforce group for that plastic bag ban
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
amendment.
Right.
And they are still making progress. They recently issued the survey.
That's
Now
correct.
to collect
Right.
information from
Have
both
you all taken the survey, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good for you.
businesses and residents on just obtaining more information on how best to make everybody happy with that. So in Beaufort County, that's what we're doing to move forward as far as legislation. But a statewide mandate isn't gonna happen in here, it's gonna happen in Columbia.
Right.
So
Right.
reach out to your local representatives, reach out to the state representatives and tell them that this is something that, you want to see. Maybe it's, what are those things that they send out and have a bunch of people sign?
petition.
Petitions.
Mhm.
Yeah, so maybe it's creating a petition and getting people to sign just to get,
I think that's
the movement there. I mean, that's at least the millennial way that we do. So just a thought, what we say in this room is great, but to get it state level, it needs to be taken out of this room. And I'm a part of Carolina Recycling Association, and annually they hold an event in Columbia where it's called Recycling at the State House. And you go to Columbia and you're able to meet
Victoria, do you have a suggestion? Because I've emailed Beaufort County council representatives and state representatives and state senators multiple times. And other than Paula and, I don't know, one other, and this is after multiple times, no one responds. And that gets pretty frustrating. So do you have any suggestions on how we actually get these people to respond?
The petition, I think, is one, so you're one voice, but if they're getting, because when I was at the State House, one of the representatives even said, like, I can't tell you how many emails I received on, I don't know, there was some little ball in Charleston that was polluting the coastline that came from the shipping yard, right? And that's what made him aware, was receiving 100 emails a day on these little microplastic balls in Charleston port. So really being the squeaky wheel, you know, I mean, it is frustrating when you reach out to people and you don't hear back, I understand. But just continuing that progress and then also getting momentum, strength in numbers. It's a hard fight for sure.
If I may,
I can suggest, people coming to county council, now you can speak, or allow people to speak in the beginning on any subject. It wasn't that way before, where you can we only had 15 minutes in the beginning and 15 minutes at the end. Well, if you have your county council meeting at 6 p.m., a lot of people they've worked all day, and they don't want to wait all day to just get up and speak. So my suggestion is to keep coming to county council and speak your 3 minutes.
I
And
think
keep
that
telling us
that's,
over and
I-
over. We have a lady in St. Helena keeps coming to us, telling us they need a rec center in St. Helena.
mhm,
And it's gotten through with their kids.
mhm.
So I think that, just sending emails not gonna do anything. Coming
That's
to talk to
obvious.
us.
I think it is important that we
Over and over again.
go to council meetings and not, you know, maybe one at a time, you know, and just sit up and say.
I mean, your
But
neighbors, friends, whoever, come and speak,
But-
say, hey.
I think if we pass, I mean, I don't, we're trying to figure out the probability of passing this plastics issue. And if we do, I think that'll speak a lot for us in the rest of the state.
Excuse me, when will we receive feedback on that survey?
I believe there's a meeting this Friday, so I don't attend a lot of the meetings.
I do.
I've delegated that to Valentina, our environmental educator.
Mhm.
I've just got too much on my plate, but I want to say,
March 1st is a deadline.
I thought it was, sorry, like I said.
I'd have to
there's a
look
lot on
through-
my calendar.
I got a lot on mine too, but
Um,
I have that information.
Okay.
today?
Okay.
It's coming soon. If it's not
Wasn't Monday?
next Monday, that's a holiday.
Wasn't it?
It-
I'll email you that.
It's,
Okay.
okay, I found it. It's the 21st. It's the 21st at 1 o'clock, and it looks like,
That's correct.
Harrington Street, is that?
Yes, that's right.
Oh,
It's all coming back to me. We're gonna be at the conservation also.
Yeah, the next plastic ordinance meeting, I believe, I don't see if there's any notes about what they're discussing, but I'm sure it's the survey results and the.
That's correct.
Okay.
But that's 1 to 3 o'clock, Friday, February the 21st. I believe this is Port Royal Sound Foundation,
No, that's the Coastal Conservation
Oh,
League's,
yeah.
and that's,
Okay.
that's in the college building, I think,
okay.
the old college building.
1211 Harrington Street in Beaufort, 29902, so yeah, that's.
Okay.
And, you know, it would be good if you came,
1211 Harrington Street.
Yeah, I have to look at my
If-
calendar, but if I can.
yeah, I know, it's not always easy, but Gene and I were at the last one, and I think we both intend to go to the rest of them. It would be good, Dr. Gene, or if you could come too, because you are so, all of us, but sometimes you, it's a,
Be on the phone. We'll make sure that the phone line is open, so if people want to call in,
right.
we'll do that, because it's a nice little conference room. It's not a big room like this, that you can actually participate if you're on the phone. Okay, may I go back to the Beaufort County Earth Day?
Yes.
If I remember, last time you all said that it was not for the community? it's just for Beaufort County employees to participate?
Yes and no. So just because of liability this year, we are gonna work with legal to hopefully open it up to residents, next year. But it's primarily Beaufort County employees. And then, we also open it up to partners. So if you are an affiliate of Port Royal Sound Foundation or Coastal Conservation League, DNR, Paris Island, that you can kind of fall under their liability, or an adopt a highway group. But it is something that we spoke to our regional partners, and I wanna say maybe Hampton County, Hampton County had, residents able to, and they just come and sign a waiver and then get their materials and go clean. We're not yet there, we still have to work with legal to get the liability form, just in case you are on the roadways. But it is for the adopt a highway groups. Jesus can speak to you more about if you wanna get involved in a group, for that, and then Beaufort County employees, and then the partnerships.
Are we able to attend?
Yes.
Yeah, you keep your KBCB.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Campbell has a group every year.
Okay.
Yeah, no, yes, we can.
And-
So if you have not received that yet, then, I don't think it's gone out. Yeah, we're only in February.
They're gonna recognize us
Yeah,
at this
I'm also
event.
not planning that. Delegation.
I got that from Val.
Okay.
So Valentina will be sending that out, to register. So I'll make sure that she includes this group as a partner. And if you haven't already received the email, the partnership email, I'll make sure that she, loops you guys in on that.
Jean, is the Outside Foundation having anything that day as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we'll be doing a whole bunch of initiatives, Earth
Are-
Month, Earth Week, but on Earth Day, we'll be doing a couple of events, but one is an island-wide call to action.
Okay.
So we get groups to choose a location, choose a time, and then we have an actual spreadsheet that they can log into, and so then we get a community-wide. So, yeah, we're doing a lot of stuff.
Is there opportunities to co-brand, to
For-
tag Keep Beaufort County Beautiful as part of that?
I don't see why not.
Okay, because one of the things that I noticed, and I'm sure Chris did as well, people are not being very strict on how they're taking credit for events they're running, et cetera. And I don't mean it in a bad way at all. They're trying to expand it as much as you can. So if we can even be part of it, maybe some of us be part of what you're doing, some of us be part of what you're doing, just make it a bigger thing for the board and for the, the activities that we're trying to take on. I think that being able to tell that story
For sure. Yeah.
would be helpful.
So we co-brand it with Palmetto Pride.
Okay.
So they're on everything we do, all the time.
Okay,
We will register and partner with the county.
okay,
We'll register and partner with the Land Trust, which runs the
Perfect.
whole coastal kind of thing. So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that.
so now register and co-brand with Keep Beaufort County
Sure,
Beautiful.
yeah.
That'd be
Yeah, we'd
great.
like that.
Yeah, sure.
That'd be great.
All I need
And
is
in
logo.
turn, we would certainly always do that with.
Yeah,
the-
all we need is a logo, sure, yeah.
Yep, and I think there's a logo right there.
Yeah, but I need the
A
digital
ni- a
logo.
nicer one.
Oh.
So, yeah. Who can
Now,
send me?
on the Earth, can I ask you a question, Victoria? On the Earth Day celebration, is there any way to use the expression co-brand, the Keep America Beautiful initiative to pick up, to sign the pledge? Could that be part of some of that, or is there not enough time, or?
I think it's definitely something to consider. I'll discuss with Valentina. She is planning it with Jesus. But I know that she's going to have booths set up.
Right.
So I think that that's a great opportunity because, you've got your stickers and you can go and talk to people about litter. So once I get back to the office, I can tell Valentina, go ahead and send you a partnership letter. And then whatever you all decide to do, if it's setting up a booth for Earth Day, to get that branding out there and, participate.
Certainly set up a booth. It's good, Gene, it's interesting too, because you get to know all the employees of Beaufort County and some of the upper people that we don't see very much.
Great.
Council people, obviously, they're all there, and, so on that side of the coin, it's really a good event for us, get to know everybody. Okay.
Victoria, do you know when the farmers market at Port Royal is planning on having their Keep Beaufort County Beautiful, or Keep,
I know that
Earth
they
Day
do an
event.
Earth Day celebration, typically it's every Saturday, but I imagine it'll probably be around that same time.
Well, they always have a specific Earth Day
Yeah.
event that there's a whole group, and
Yeah.
typically there's
They
somebody
haven't
from
sent
here.
out any information. We started really early, because it's a lot to coordinate, so I'm sure that eventually they'll all send out their information, because I haven't heard any other save the dates from any other Earth Day events currently. We know about ours because we're planning it, but usually it's around, the same time frame.
I did receive an email requesting that I set up a booth for Friends of Cherry Hill Oak, and the event is on Saturday, the 19th of April, at the farmer's market.
In Port Royal?
Yeah.
Okay.
We might have access to, again, I'd have to ask Victoria if this is correct what I'm saying, but there's a great booth that we use from time to time that,
Well, I'm going to be
Nice-
at
nice
Earth Day
tent.
one way or another
Yeah.
and set up a booth. If you would like me to talk about Keep Beaufort County Beautiful
abs-
and the Friends of Cherry Hill Oak, I'm happy to do that.
yeah, again, co-branding.
Yeah,
You said the Earth Day in Port Royal was April 19th.
yes, ma'am.
That would be a-
Valentina's not here, so she may have received that information in email. But if not, we'll make sure she's got that information too. And we've co-hosted booths before, because we do have our solid waste and recycling tent. And we've done that several times, me and Mr. Campbell. So we'll host our Beaufort County tent and have our information, and then also have KBCD stuff.
On that note, when you're talking about the challenge for picking up 250 pieces of garbage or whatever it was, does that have to be done on July 4th? Because I'm thinking we could maybe print something up to hand out to people at the farmer's market about the challenge.
No, the taking the challenge you can do right now,
Yeah.
right? You can do right now.
Well, it's a wonderful opportunity to promote that challenge.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I'm also curious if there's an online portal where people report what they've done. How are they tracking participation?
Yes, that is going to exist.
Mhm.
We had a very brief presentation from the marketing lead at Keep America Beautiful. And she talked a little bit about it, and she was enthusiastic about it, very marketing about it. I said, great presentation. What's the schedule? What products are you going to provide to us? How are we going to manage this? Tell me when we should expect what content we can share. So we didn't really get much. She said by the end of March of next month, she'll be able to have laid out and published a plan and say, here's how this thing is going to work. They're kind of jumping a little bit here. It used to be the Great American Cleanup. They've just
Right.
decided to call it the Greatest American Cleanup, and they're rebranding around that. So all that stuff is going to be coming out next month.
So
With-
if it
with
comes
the-
out in March, then there should be plenty of time to be informed by
Yeah,
April
you should be plenty of
and
time.
print something up.
Yep.
And so I would need to know who to coordinate all that with.
We'll try to coordinate that with you as much,
I would suggest a QR code
Mm-hmm.
and scan instead of printing
Yeah, that's right.
more
There's one
materials
on
that
the-
one could potentially
Litter.
cause litter.
Yep,
Yeah.
That's
agreed.
Our biggest method is being really mindful with our giveaways when we're purchasing. Because you don't just want to print something that's gonna end up in the trash.
Yep.
potentially. So if you need help creating that QR code, or I guess there's already one created, but
Mm-hmm.
if you need assistance in creating a banner or a display that has it on there, Tina can
That'd be great.
that.
That'd be great.
Just a note on QR codes, a lot of people are hesitant to use them now because because some have been embedded with all kinds of spam and other things that are a lot more dangerous. So some people will not use them anymore. So we need an alternative as well.
Just include the URL.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Right.
Well,
That'll do it.
I imagine that you're gonna create some sort of poster or flyer.
Yep.
The basic information will be on that poster flyer. If you want more information, you
that's gonna be provided through the hub, through the KAB hub, which is why we need access to the hub. I know, I'm just kidding.
She called me today,
Yeah.
but she's a week postpartum.
No
so
problem, no problem.
give her some time.
Yeah, we
This-
need to respect that. I just printed up a couple thousand business cards for Friends of Cherry Hill Oak, and I put QR codes and the website, and it's something that's easy to hand out, so we might think about that. It's not expensive.
Okay. Victoria, is there a capability for us to have a shared calendar? That we can put all these different things that are coming up?
Yeah, you do, it's all on SharePoint.
It's on
So it
SharePoint,
should all-
okay.
It's all linked.
I've not been able to get into SharePoint
Okay,
yet, so,
well, maybe
okay.
if you can reserve time, and we'll also get with our IT guy, who
Yep.
helps us every day.
Yep. Sally and I have been working on that.
To see what's going on, because
Okay.
we've had him come in and, help us troubleshoot, so it is, that's why the SharePoint was created, because it's all there.
Great.
There's the shared calendar, there's the shared documents, you can pull everything, you're supposed to be able to pull everybody's contact information.
See all the events come,
Contact information?
the upcoming events, that's, you know, because it's, time flies and sometimes it gets by us.
Yeah.
Cool. One other subject, on that subject, can we get some T-shirts printed up for the,
Your budget,
yeah,
yeah, do you wanna
can we vote on
go
that?
to finance, anything on beautification first, or?
Okay, when we go to finance, we'll talk about that.
I'm sorry, purpose and for whom?
It's probably one of the coolest thing you can give away at in an event, and what biggest thing comes to mind is the air show's gonna be this year. And there's 150,000 people at the air show.
Yeah.
And it, a lot of times it's for the kids,
Yeah,
but they'll go around wearing your logo, you know, and that's.
I'm just thinking in terms of how many.
Well, you
centers
know,
and
if we,
so on.
we got 150 of each size, you know, that would be probably way plenty, you know. So it's not something, I don't,
Have to look at cost.
yeah, we have to look at cost.
Yeah, I'd like to see an estimate
Mhm.
before we voted on shirts, T-shirts.
And we can probably get that done right here in town, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Plenty of places.
We want some estimates on some T-shirts.
You may want to talk to Sarah about that, because she gets things printed for us, for county council,
There you go.
bags and backpacks, that kind of thing. I think the person's very local.
Yeah, there are a couple of local providers.
Yes, yeah, they're over on Ladies Island.
Victoria,
There's one voting location too.
had one more question, just, it's, I guess concerning legislative, it's the, survey that went out, is that one survey per family, or is it per person?
Per person,
I think it's per person, so
yeah.
they fixed it to where it's one per registered email address.
Yeah.
So if you've got that email address, one survey and you're allotted. If you want someone in your household to submit another survey, they would have to use their own email address.
Okay, I received it to do the survey, but my husband did not receive the email to take the survey, which is why I was asking whether it was one per family or per,
Do you share an email address?
no, we don't.
Yeah.
If you forward him that email, he'll be able to log in with, or use his email
Okay.
address to, submit a survey.
All right, thank you.
And it would be wise to tell any friend you have to do the survey.
Yeah, I've been talking.
I mean, I've told everybody that I have, my world out there is covered. Okay, beautification, we got any discussion on beautification coming up here?
What's happened at the traffic circle? Has that been
Nothing.
planted?
Nothing.
No, now wait a minute.
It's been mowed.
We have submitted a plan to DOT, and it's a simple plan. It isn't really an extensive thing. It's not some fancy landscape plan, but it's nice. It's thorough. And there are a couple of palmetto trees in the middle. To the DOT switched, Elizabeth's no longer there, who was my buddy, but now that Mike's there, he's a good guy too, but he just took over. But anyway, I took the plan by Mike's last week. And I hadn't had time since then to follow up on it. But as soon as that plan is approved, The greenery is and it's $5,000, you know, I mean, we can get it up. We don't have to get bids and everything. We can just get the greenery to go and do it, okay? As soon as I get the approval. It will be done this spring. This stuff is not easy to do all the time.
Certainly isn't.
When you have to have permission, I'm not used to that. But anyway, we'll get it.
Thank you. I just wanted to know the status on it.
Yeah, and then we've been out there, I mean, it's just covered with this thick layer of grass, you know, we gotta get all that out and everything else, but we're all set, and we've got the proper bid on it and everything else, so. And, one other thing that Victoria was just telling me, would you like to speak about that? Okay, well, I'm gonna would you like to come up here and speak about that?
Go ahead, it's fine. So when we applied for Keep Beaufort County Beautiful funds from Palmetto Pride, wildflower seeds were purchased, for the last calendar year grant. We procured those seeds, and we are working with the General Support Department on division under Public Works Department, and they're going to be, preparing the area around Gardens Corner, to be able to plant the seeds. We may need additional seeds and supplies based off the square footage, that they'd like to plant on. And then also, we will work with the communications team and the public information officer, to get the word out. So we're hoping, that this grows and potentially turns into an annual occurrence, and potentially getting South Carolina DOT involved to do Highway 170 or other roadways. And Mr. Campbell already mentioned, maybe next time instead of using wildflower seeds, we could potentially use bulbs. It does incorporate more work, since you have to kind of really pop those bulbs in the ground. But it is an option. I mean, this is something that they do in North Carolina. It's absolutely gorgeous when those flowers bloom along the roadways.
Bulbs.
But it is, yeah, they plant bulbs in North Carolina, and every year they come back, so it's a lot, like, it's more laborious up front, but
Mow 'em.
then, of course, it pays off.
Whips.
So that is something that I'm working with, grounds maintenance on, incorporating, and we hope to get a small yard sign with the Keep Beaufort County Beautiful logo, so everyone knows that it's the efforts, of the sport.
Where out at Gardens Corner?
The intersection that looks like.
In the circle?
In the circle?
Yeah, and,
Not in the circle. I'll send you a note.
okay.
Okay.
I'll send you a note.
I want to go on record.
The picture, but
Yeah.
this little triangle here, and this little triangle here, and this little triangle here, and that, so I'll send you the map.
That'll work. I was just like,
Okay, yeah, I was just, around yonder,
To-
out there looking pretty, so I'll send you the map that I worked on. the general support.
well, it's just interesting that that's where we're going to be going to with the seeds.
Yeah.
Because the very first thing that I ever did with Keep Beaufort County Beautiful
What's it
was
called?
plant wildflower seeds at Gardens Corner, way before that, intersection was changed.
Nice.
Yeah, good for you.
Well,
So-
the reason that we selected this location was the high visibility, and then also there's a Beaufort County agreement, if you will, that our grounds maintenance maintains that area. So that's why we're allowed to do that, portion.
And today was the first
We're
I
already
heard about it,
maintaining it.
just to let you know what,
Good, that
Something
sounds
I
great.
slipped.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let
very
us know
excited.
if there's anything we can do now with the county maintenance department. Are they gonna be planting the seeds and everything?
So they'll know when they mow that that's their stuff, and that's really a good way of doing it.
They'll prep it and, distribute the seeds, and we're working with, and that's what we may need some more supplies, because the seeds do need to, have that retention of moisture right whenever they're planted. I'm trying to remember Kennard's, I know he used the word propagated, then they'd be fine, I think is what he said. Anyway, once we're out there, he'll know a bit more. They're gonna prep the, area, cause you do have to kind of remove the material that's there now, so basically the grass. And then, we're hoping to get some compost. Too bad we don't have any of our own yet, but we're gonna get some compost, and we think that'll help retain the moisture for the seeds. So, we're working
A little bit of peat moss might be good to retain moisture.
Okay. I'm not the grounds one. I can keep them alive after they're in the pot. Sometimes. So
Good.
anyway, that's
Good
it.
news.
Good news, good news. So we're making progress on the circle.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And then we are making a little progress on some wildflowers. And I'd like for everybody to think about the bulbs, maybe for next year. We'll do bulbs in certain spots.
If I may, the thing that I love about wildflowers is with all the development and the roads in Beaufort County, we are losing pollinator habitat and we're losing our native species. And I think if we plant wildflowers, we're more likely to be supporting our native species, whereas bulbs, I'm not sure we would be doing that. So I would hope that we would at least take that into consideration. I do think they could be used together. I mean, bulbs at the front of a bed can really jazz up a garden and make it look really well tended and beautiful. And then maybe wildflowers that support our native pollinators and birds behind it. I would really love to see that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think you're right.
And they are good. We worked with planning and zoning and Juliana Smith with the county in selecting the appropriate mix for the location.
I think blue flag iris is a bulb that does really well here.
Well, one time the county was all daffodil farms,
Yes,
Mhm.
that's beautiful.
including my family's.
Really?
And all the trash, they all had daffodil,
And then before you guys do get into the finance, I do just want to provide the update of, so this year, you will not have to formally go to committee and request the funds. You do have to, submit your budget request, and I've been speaking with Valerie Alcoff, and I will send that to, the subcommittee, but the applications for your budget request are due on April 9th.
So we gotta get to work. We're gonna have to break off into a little subcommittee to work on, maybe another one of those meetings and talk about that again.
Does not the whole board have to vote on the budget?
Yes, they do, but we have to come up with a budget.
Okay, so are we gonna need a special meeting to do that?
That's what I'm saying.
For the finance committee.
The finance committee.
Which
Yeah, you meet the 10th, so we'll definitely.
we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Anything else for finance?
Can you think
Yeah,
of?
a couple things. How much,
Yeah, if you're ready, I'll link the finance subcommittee with Valerie Altoff, because she did say it was
great.
an application, and then I asked about the application, so I'll forward all that information to the
Yeah,
subcommittee.
they can start on it now.
Yeah, I
Great.
believe they have been, you have been,
Great.
right? Like, the subcommittee for finance is in meeting?
So,
We had a meeting, a meeting last time, yeah. A little committee meeting,
Okay.
we need to have more, of course.
yes.
Could you tell us how much is left of the budget as of today?
I do not have, I don't have that on me right now.
Okay. Could you ask Valerie to provide that when she provides the instructions?
Yeah, your
Okay.
account is a little is different from solid waste. Your account comes out of general funding and not the solid waste budget,
Okay,
but we can pull that data for you. I don't currently have a designated business manager for solid waste, but I will definitely get you the remaining funds.
great. I put together a spreadsheet, and I was hoping I could present it on the screen, and I guess I
Did you
can't.
get that to me before? I can always add it into the.
Okay, I'll do that next time.
Yeah, sorry, they set this up and.
It's okay.
Play,
That's
so
okay.
I'm not sure how to pass your.
So I went through the Word document with all the requests in it.
You got something else?
And,
I'm the worst.
and I had,
I think, Darcy, if not.
I had 7 different line items were requested for 24-25, FY 24-25. Okay, does that sound about right? About 7 things?
Right.
Okay, so I apologize, I don't have the paper in front of me, but I can read it here. We had plantings for gardens, Corner, and Joe Frazier Circle of $82,000. That was the request. Wildflowers along major highways, $7,500. Improvements to existing landscaped areas, $5,500. Heritage signs at county entrances, $20K. Implement additional litter control, $150K. Adopt a highway program, $3,500. And administrative costs, $1,500. You all have read that note before, I'm sure, because you were part of the process. So you kind of know basically the items that were requested for. My understanding is that we were funded at $50K.
Yes.
So what we should think about right now, because we can't, if we're gonna do it as a team, we have to do it in this meeting, I understand.
Yep.
We should think about what money do we wanna spend of that $50K? I have no idea how much money is left, so I don't know that much money has been spent. But we could start at $50K is what we have to allocate. It probably would be best to stick to these 7 items and decide where we wanna put money. But a big criteria has to be what can be done, at least can we get receipts for by March 31st? Right?
No, your budget ends the end of June.
June
This is
30th.
for your budget,
June 30th.
yes.
Okay, great. So we should have time to do everything that was requested last year. There isn't enough money to do everything that was requested last year. So we gotta decide, what do we wanna spend $50K on?
But we need to find out first what we've got left.
But there's almost nothing has been spent.
Okay.
So I think we could probably safely allocate $50K
Well, we,
and then just be prepared to reduce a little bit here and there if we have to, I think.
There's been a lot of committed to.
Pardon me?
There's been plenty that's been committed to out of the 50K,
And-
not
It just
spent
has not been
necessarily.
spent yet.
How is it, in what way has it been committed?
Verbally, signs.
Well,
otherwise.
I just ran down the list of what
well,
was
the signs
requested.
are on his list.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything
Come
was
up
on.
for this fiscal year,
This
For
is what
this
was
year.
ending June.
Yeah.
Ending in June.
And of the 50 that was allocated to our budget, how much has been committed to this year?
Committed, I don't understand the word, I'm sorry.
As in, what is the cost for the Joe
Whether it be
Frazier
signs
Circle
or
that we've
seeds
already
or-
agreed
So-
to, and Gardens Corner?
I don't think
we've already
anything's been
agreed
committed. I think that
You
this was
have
the,
spent some funds on
Okay.
billboards.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
Billboard.
Okay,
And
I-
you might not have known that.
I didn't know that, so
That's
that's fine.
Chloe's been managing your account, but she left a spreadsheet full. and
Yeah, I need
emailed
that.
it to you.
Basically accrued expense, the CapEx.
Okay.
I can probably give you a good idea or a close idea of how much we've spent
Or committed to.
or committed to.
Yeah.
One, we had signs that were, what was that?
You have,
Couple $1,000s for the signs, correct? Or more?
Who
Billboards.
maintains,
yeah.
Chloe maintains the budget?
I guess that's what I'm hearing, right? We're sort of, the Frazier Circle, we pulled that out of the overall plan. There was a Gardens Corner plan, and then we were also kind of throwing in the Frazier Circle for Diane. And,
Because I'm the first person who asked for wildflowers and plantings,
yes, and she is an elder here, and we,
I am an elder.
anyway, so that was, oh, and then we found out that we can spend up to $4,999 without having to have several bids.
Yep.
And since we don't have a major project on the table, like we did, the Gardens Corner project would have cost us, we may have had to get some bids on that, which would, before we didn't. So we can spend up to $5,000. So the project at the Circle with agreement with Greenery is $4,999.
Okay.
Okay? And then we're gonna do a 3-year maintenance plan on that circle. And I'm not sure what that's gonna cost, but it's gonna be, and it could probably come out of next year's money.
You'll pay for it each year, though, right?
Yeah,
You're
we'll
not
pay
gonna try
for
to
it each, yeah.
Advance pay.
But still, that'll be something. We talked about doing those signs that I wanted to do. We were able to get them, I think I told y'all before, that for $5,000 a piece and $5,000 to install them. There was no commitment to that, but that was on the table too.
Has that been agreed to, or,
It hadn't been agreed to by the board,
okay?
and so it's not,
Who runs Victoria, who runs our kind of
Chloe.
real-time budget?
Chloe.
You got 50,000, then we've got what we committed to, what we spent. Is anybody?
You're in the general fund, right? So I'm not privy to all the information.
Yeah,
I know we track your spending, so we know that you spent $30,000 on billboards, but as far as your general fund budget, it's out of solid waste. So I can't speak to it.
is there a way can we get, I mean, it'd be helpful, we're kind of operating off the same.
Yeah, as I said, I'm going to send you, I'll pull the information.
I might be able to get it for you.
I'll pull the information from Eunice and see what's in that, but as far as, it's not in the solid waste budget. So I don't have, it's not readily available to me. As I said, currently I'm down a business manager, so.
Because Gene is obviously working on this, and there's no way to reconcile what he's got going with what's actually been done, and this is not the first meeting we've kind of gone around and around and around on this.
It should be on SharePoint too. We said this,
The actual budget and,
yeah, I'm not sure, I didn't upload.
okay, so we're not sure, okay.
But if it's not, it will be as of right.
That would be helpful.
well, it would be helpful if Gene kind of kept an eye on those things.
Well, all of us.
All of us,
so
right.
we know we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
If you're committing to whatever, signs, and no one else is, then we gotta kind of reconcile that.
Well, we all talked about the signs at one point. It may have been at a meeting that we did, I don't remember.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
talking about
Yeah.
billboards?
Separate out into subcommittees, meet in the subcommittee, and then come back to us so we can work through all of this prior to this meeting.
Well, the
Good.
signs were agreed upon by the board.
Yes, that's correct.
Because that was
But-
put into the original budget. Since we
Right.
didn't get all the money that we requested, it's now trying to decide of what that budget was, what we want to spend the money
Right.
on.
But there should be a working document that we should be all privy to,
Have a copy right here every time we sit down.
every time.
Yes.
Mhm.
Last time we met, you all agreed on extending your billboard,
Right.
and that was a $3,000 cost.
Yeah.
And then the, timeframe for the budgeting was brought up, and this is all in your agenda meeting minutes.
Yep,
And then the committees recapped as follows. We had one mention of, a miscommunication on committee, because I don't think Ms. Bogie was here that day. And then the subcommittee was supposed to meet, make decisions, and come prepared today to present those decisions on what you wanted to move forward with. So we were supposed to vote today on the things that we,
the impediment on that is that we don't have a document, so we can make all decisions we want, but we
yeah,
have nothing,
exactly, but that's what I'm
we,
saying.
we can't compare it to
If you
anything.
met And then come to our office like we already told you to do, you would have that. Because you telling me now that you don't have it doesn't circumvent the fact that you never met, you never discussed.
We did meet, though.
And you didn't ask for this until today. So now that you're asking for it, yes, I can get you that document. I don't have it now.
I'm sorry, I asked for it, I asked for it
Yeah,
last time we were
Gene
here
asked
2
for it
months
last
ago.
time.
2 months ago, I asked for it, just because when we agreed to set up a finance committee,
When did you ask for it?
as part of that conversation.
It's not, it's not in the notes and
I
it weren't.
apologize if we didn't
That
get
is
in the
for you
notes.
to tell us,
Yep.
okay, remember.
Okay,
Well, we're okay now.
It's okay.
We'll get
We'll get it.
we'll get this sorted out.
Well, I'm hearing an expectation that I haven't heard before. I heard just now in the conversation back and forth that the subcommittees are expected to meet between full committee meetings. And I haven't even had ways to contact other people. So, you know, we need a roster and we need some kind of structure for the expectation that the committees meet, and maybe even a date by which we report to administration before the meeting. I don't think that that framework has been clear.
The roster for this group is online. There's also a roster here that we're asking you all to update today.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be sent out again.
Okay, well, I've been to SharePoint several times and I haven't seen all that.
The county's website.
Yeah, you go to the county
You go to the
website.
board's website,
Okay.
and then you go
That's
to
there.
the Mashboard site. All of your information is up there. Anybody can see it, not just board members.
No, I agree with that, but let's get back to the finance and the fact that we all need a living document every time we're here.
Heard.
Okay,
Heard, and as I've already said, you'll get it.
all right, great, thanks.
Thank you.
Can we talk about where the priorities of the board are in terms of spending the about 50,000, of which about 8,000 has already been obligated?
Right.
So now, unless someone has another history that says, no, we agreed to, you said committed, we agreed to
Yep.
spend something else elsewhere, now that number's 42,000.
Correct.
Okay, so I'll go real quick through the listing again. Gardener's Corner and Fraser Circle. It looks like 5K is what's dedicated to Fraser Circle. The funding and expenses for Gardener's Corner is mostly covered. You might need a little bit more.
Yeah,
A little is under $1,000.
100%.
Okay, so that's easy. We can deal with that. Okay, so second one was wildflowers along major highways. Okay, we had $7,500 for it. Does anyone have an idea of what's the minimum amount of funding we can provide and still have impact?
Rephrase your question, I don't think I understand it.
If we drop that to $2,000,
Wildfire.
is it too small to make any impact?
Yes.
I don't know. That's why I'm trying to understand. That's all I'm asking.
I don't know how much we've spent on wildflowers already, but if we're trying to figure out what to do with the rest of the money that remains to us, you know, I think the wildflowers are a really good idea. It sounds like you're talking about taking money away from wildflowers.
We've got, you know, a budget request of 270K, and we only have 42,000 spent. So the question is, some items, like Chris had talked about the signs, he thinks he can do a sign for 5K. Rather than doing 4, which is what we had in the budget, maybe we do 1. That's $5,000.
Well, we were gonna do 2, yeah, just.
Okay, but if you do 2, then something else is not gonna get funded. So that's
Okay.
what we have to work through.
I got you, I
What
got
do
you.
you think's the most important? Right?
Well, to me, the most important thing is visual impact right now. To bring our name, our logo, who we are to the public more. So the wildflowers, I think, is an important project and should be fully funded. The signs, maybe we could put one off until next year. But they're nice and they're wonderful and they help.
And we could put it off.
But I think perhaps we could put those off. The issue here, I think, is priorities.
Right.
Mhm.
And so we need to decide on priorities.
Right.
Impact is what we need most. Visual impact.
Well, I always said that litter, if everything else fell, litter would be our main focus.
Well, absolutely.
But I think the 150K of funding requested was I get the impression, again, I'm new to this, but I have the impression that the county wants to fund litter collection through Jesus and his team.
Right.
Doesn't want to fund litter collection through this board. Is that a fair statement? Is that what people understand?
I don't know the fact, whether that's factual or not. Who said in the last meeting, said if we allocate some of our resources to Jose, then the county won't give us as
Jesus,
much.
I'm sorry.
Did I say that?
Jesus.
Sorry. And I just look at it that, don't we want to pick up this litter no matter where the funds are coming? They're fungible. So I probably have a different perspective on that, but You know, it's a big problem here, no matter where the funds are coming from.
And that's also a visual problem.
Correct.
So the question then is, are we able to do that? Like, can we let a contract as a team, let a contract and pick up litter on XYZ street? Is that within our purview to do that?
Yes, if it's going to be a contract that would equate to over $100,000, then it would need to go out to bid.
No, wait, Anna.
We don't have enough money.
We don't have anywhere near that kind of money.
You have quotes for this service, and this is another thing that we told you last time, was whenever you're finding a source and what to spend money on, then you have to get these quotes, so you're sure that it's falling within the procurement parameters, and that's why I sent you
Yeah.
the procurement
You
parameters
did.
Yep.
last time.
You did.
So if you want to do this, yes, great, go out and get quotes, so then you
Yeah.
have something to work with.
Okay, so we can fund litter cleanup.
You can
We have to
find
follow
a
the process, of
third
course.
party-
Okay.
You can find a third-party vendor
Okay,
for litter cleanup.
okay.
What you are,
Can I-
what would take a lot of time and would most likely not get approved until fiscal year 26 is to increase positions within the county.
Right,
Because
right.
that starts whenever you're creating a budget.
I don't-
So in FY 26, if you're wanting to create additional, budget items such as personnel, that's when we can request that, unless it's a special opportunity where it has to go through also HR. But if you want to use your funds to hire a contractor to do that, yes, you can do that. You need quotes.
Is it fair to say that we do not want to provide funds to have the county hire somebody new? Or do people feel like that might not be a bad idea? We should discuss that.
Actually, I think it's a great idea. We were talking about litter enforcement, and I keep hearing that we have one person to enforce.
900 square miles.
Yeah, that's nuts. And if we were gonna do anything that made a difference, I think, the petition that was discussed earlier and appealing to the county for more personnel for enforcement would be a great idea. Most of the litter I see flies out of the back of people's trucks and cars, and there's no consequence for it. I think putting signs out is great, but the only people that really appreciate beautiful signs are people that aren't littering in the first place. So I tend to think that there needs to be consequence for people who do litter.
And keep in mind, Dr. Jean has an organization already set up for all that. And maybe we could make a.
What's that organization?
The Outside Foundation.
Mhm.
And in terms of,
We don't contract out any of that.
No, but you do an awful lot of litter.
Yeah, that's all volunteer-based.
but you're
so-
treating the symptoms again.
Exactly.
I think what we're
Yeah.
talking about is creating some enforcement.
There's no
We have
enforcement.
one gentleman here. We've talked about the fact that the sheriff, I mean, I've given the numbers, they're
Yeah.
pathetic.
Yeah.
There's no ticketing virtually
No,
given.
none.
I mean,
Yeah.
one guy can't do the whole damn
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Are
So-
there ordinances that would permit ticketing by police
Well,
officers?
I actually, in Bluffton, I asked to be deputized a couple of years ago and was told, go fly a kite. But, I mean, until there's consequences, like I have said, if there were no consequences to drunk driving, we would have drunk drivers all over the place. And until there are consequences to see,
Right.
I mean, I was driving up here today and there's a big garbage truck and crap's flying out the back again.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it be tarping, whether it be tarps on work trucks, there's no requirements on this stuff.
People
there's no
who
one looking at
drive
it.
pickup trucks just throw the garbage in the back, then they go down the highway
It
at 60
flies out.
miles an
Empty
hour and it
bottles.
flies out.
Again, but when you
Yeah.
have 44 tickets given in 3 years by
Yeah.
the sheriff's department, it ain't happening.
Do we need to work with the sheriff's
I've
department?
asked that question before and it went nowhere.
Well, They're a
In
little
order-
reluctant.
Yes, Paul.
That's my, but
I am-
Well, order,
Right.
call for order.
Yes.
In Maryland, where I used to live, if you saw someone throw a cigarette butt or a cup or something out of their vehicle and it landed on the road, you would take their driver's.
We have that.
Someone probably can answer this for us today. You would take the driver's license number and call the non-emergency number of the police department.
You have that app.
We have it out.
Beaufort
You have
County,
that?
We have
Beaufort
that.
County Connect, you can take a picture, you can put it right in there and you can send it.
And will they
Oh, yeah.
find, they will find that person?
Yep, because you can see that it's received, open, closed.
Wow.
So
You
I've
have to- you had
taken, I've taken pictures.
Picture of the trash and the license plate.
Yeah, so like going across the bridge and you see
Yeah.
stuff flying out of a
Yeah, yeah,
truck,
yeah.
you grab a picture of it
Yeah.
and then you
what?
report it. But again, if the list of reports is a mile long and we get one, person to get ticketed in a year,
Well, they just send them like I
Yes.
run, not, I don't run.
There's
when
still
I'm
not
in
enough
Maryland, I go to
enforcement.
Chesapeake Bay Bridge, I don't go, there's no toll booth anymore. So they take a picture of my driver's license
Right.
and send me a bill.
right,
So couldn't the police department do the same thing? We give them the driver's license
That's a
number and then
legis-
they send.
That's a legislation issue. South Carolina State
Yeah.
law
Would
requires
that
you
be
to give a
state
ticket.
law?
To give a ticket,
Yeah,
you have to actually give it to the driver of the vehicle.
Right.
So what you're saying is if you ran the plate,
yeah.
I would have to 100% without a doubt have the ID of that driver.
Mhm.
So if somebody borrowed a
This
car,
year,
somebody
whenever I
rented a
got this
car.
conversation about running red lights, so that's going to go nowhere. That I already know. But yes, so it would have to be state legislature, not
It
county.
would have to be correct.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
but you can do those reports, but again, it probably just goes to the company where they're saying, well, this was seen
Well,
going out of your
I was at a county council
truck.
meeting one morning, and there was a trash truck, like, where was it?
Ford?
Full of newspapers.
Well,
And it flew out the back. It looked like it snowed newspapers from Simmonsville Road all the way down to Rose Hill. So I was in my car and I called our administrator at the time, and I told him, I said, someone needs to come out and pick this up. You remember that? You do? What I mean, it looked like it snowed newspapers. And our public works department was wonderful, because they went out there and cleaned it up, you didn't even know there was a newspaper around.
But that's still treating the symptoms, and that's the problem. And it's in the record, I offered to pay for plate reading cameras up and down May River Road a couple of years ago.
Oh, really? Oh,
I did to the Bluffton, and I did in here, and nothing, fell flat. And I know they've got them in town, so it's not that, it's obviously, I've reported trash, license plates, everything going up and down May River Road to the police department in Bluffton, crickets.
Mhm.
So until there's actual, somebody who can actually get in there and make action happen within the police,
We need
the
check-
enforcement, we're beating our heads against the wall.
we need checkpoints.
well, I didn't realize it's a state issue, it can't be a county issue.
Well, that's part of my emails to our senator and other representatives who maybe can get to the state level, and it falls flat.
There is a legislation currently being relooked at to assist in getting more litter patrol officers, but not really officers, so an intent to assist in that. And it's something that they just asked us for information on. So there is a legislation in
State-
place now.
State of South Carolina legislation?
Yep, state of South Carolina legislation, they requested information from us regarding fiscal impact. So there are small movements there.
Is there
In
a
order-
way we could find out about what that legislation is so that we could respond to the appropriate government entities, the appropriate representatives in support of it? I think if we communicate as a group, it would be beneficial.
agree.
Yeah, I'll send you the link to the amendment.
Every year at the annual statewide litter convention that is held up in, it's a combination of law enforcement and little groups like ours. And the parking lot is full of trucks from different counties that have litter patrol on the back of them. And I always say, I wish we could do that here in Beaufort County. Now, I know they're short. I know there's always a lot of reasons, and I have a great deal of admiration for the sheriff's department here. But
Chris, just a quick,
be good if yeah.
real quick. If you guys remember a while back, a couple of years ago, they had the red light cameras.
Yeah.
You guys remember that? They remember disappearing within like, I don't know, months. Remember that? That's exactly what I'm saying with the South Carolina
Right,
legislation law.
because the sheriff and I, when we
Mhm.
were campaigning
That's why
in
they got rid of that
2022, I said to him in one of our, meetings we were all at, and he said, you can't, he said exactly what you just said, you ticket somebody, the owner of that car may not have been driving that vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't do that. And then I did further research only to find out that Governor Mark Sanford signed into law, no traffic cameras are illegal in the state of South Carolina. So that, because there was another thing I was trying to bring up. In Maryland, I literally sat out on the corners of Moss Creek and Simmonsville Road, and another one, and just watched. I was only out there for an hour. And if we ticketed every car that ran red lights, within an hour, I would have accumulated $3,000. Just an hour. That would have a huge amount of revenue, but the sheriff and I talked about it, and it's just not gonna work unless we get the governor, a legislator, like you said, with the trash and with this, I mean, people run red lights all the time. I don't pull my car out until.
There's also the non-emergency number for dispatch, 843-524-2777. And if you do see a dump truck or something and you're behind it, call that number.
Oh, what's that number again?
Yeah, good.
It's non-emergency number dispatch,
Oh, the
843.
new, okay, just
Yeah.
call them and tell
Yeah,
them?
so what they'll do is they'll dispatch that information to a road deputy, which is way more than just me.
Oh,
So they have road deputies that are, patrolling, writing tickets, going to calls, doing whatever in the course of the day, and they'll get a call on the radio, hey, there's a red dump truck with, this trucking company's name on the side of it, blowing stuff all over the highway. They pull them over and they write them tickets.
Could you give me that number again?
Absolutely.
And what is the ticket? How much is the ticket?
Littering,
What is it,
money,
like $100?
it all
It
depends
depends
on
on
the
what
weight,
you've done.
the cord.
How much you
Oh,
done?
Litter fees are based off the weight.
Kind of gets out of our
Thank you
hands.
so much.
And Jesus, on the 18th, we're going to ask that he become a commissioned officer, so he can't pull
That-
the over, but he will be able to, write citations.
That's good.
Awesome.
Could I get that number again? 843?
843-524-2777.
Thank you.
And what Victoria just said, when they get Jesus squared away like that, it's kind of what I did before with the other guy before him.
Yeah,
And we did lots of investigations together.
yep.
Some stuff in the rougher areas, maybe just don't need to be there kind of thing. But we were working really well together, and when he gets that squared away, it's gonna open up a lot of doors for us. But again, that non-emergency number dispatch, call it if you see it, be as descriptive as you can about the vehicle, and if they pull it, if they see it happening, they have to see it happen. They have to see that little piece of litter come flying out. Doesn't matter what you guys saw, but us as a law enforcement officer, we have to see it.
So we can get back to the decision-making if we can? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Um,
they
let
have
me-
to see it, so we see a piece of, if we see a piece of trash flying out, they have to see it though as well.
The law enforcement officer has to see it.
So if he's 10 miles away, it's kind
Yeah.
of not, I mean, it's watered down, that's the problem. This whole thing's watered down,
Absolutely. Legislation.
totally watered down.
All right, let's get back to,
All right.
yes.
All right, so in order to expedite our decisions for this year, the current year we're in, which ends June 30th, can I suggest that we delay the discussion on potentially adding resources to litter or police to next year? I agree, it's a good conversation to have. We don't have much money this year. Can we move this conversation to prioritizing what we want to spend money on, and can we push that concept to next year? People okay with that?
And I think we need to do that because there's really not enough money to pay another
I
person.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Enough time
Okay.
and money.
no, we don't
Right.
have that, yes.
All right,
But we could donate some
So-
money to this gang right here, or,
Yeah.
Call for the question.
Pardon me?
Just formal
Oh,
votes.
Oh,
move to approve that? Is that what you're asking
Yeah,
for?
yeah, ask. that
I,
one.
okay.
Put it in the form of a motion.
Yeah, a motion, I move that.
Second.
Okay, okay, are we gonna make movements on every line item, or just do them all together at the end?
Line item, please.
Okay, so, the implement additional litter control major roadways, I'm proposing that we delay this. We had asked for 150K, we're not gonna spend any money on that this fiscal year. That's the motion,
I second.
okay.
All in
Yeah,
favor?
all in favor?
all in
Aye.
favor? Aye.
Okay,
Opposed?
0, next. plantings, I'm gonna go back just for a second, Gardner's Corner and Joe Fraser Circle, I made that $5,500 to cover the extra spend they might have. Are we agreeing that 5,000 for Fraser Circle is what we wanna spend? We don't have to worry about mechanically what flowers we buy, et cetera. Just, do we wanna spend the
I
money?
so move.
Okay,
Second.
everybody agrees?
Second.
Aye.
Okay,
Opposed?
perfect. Wildflowers are along major highways. We had asked for 7,500. Do we want to dedicate some money? I asked the question about what amount is logical? If we just say $500, that's not good enough, right?
No.
Does anybody have a gut feel? Is a minimum amount $5,000? Is that, what do you guys think?
If you reduce the amount, you just reduce the area that you plant. It seems simple enough.
How much area does $5,000 cover? Are we looking
Well, this
at 2
is-
rows for 10 miles, or 1 row for 100 miles?
10 pounds of seed cover 25,000 square foot, and 10 pounds of seed were about $300 to $400, if I recall, maybe.
Yeah, 200 acres.
Can we?
What about the prep work? Do we fund that?
That's the thing that will need to be funded. is
Okay.
prep work.
All right.
You need a contractor to do
Yeah,
that.
so we haven't seen,
So I'm gonna propose that we spend $5,000 on wildflower.
All the information on it.
Chris, I have to leave, but I just talked to Pinky. You have $47,000 in your account. You need to get that, you need to spend that by
That's
the
what
end
we're
of
doing
June.
right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're deciding right now what we're spending.
47,000,
Thank you.
all right?
47.
That's the balance.
with
I
47.
propose that we do not reduce the wildflower.
Okay, so we will have, okay, so,
I second that.
okay, so we want to spend,
We have to take note of who's saying what, so,
okay,
We have a motion and we have a second.
okay, who
I,
motioned, who seconded?
I move that we do not reduce the wildflower allotment, especially since we're responsible for installation, which is more expensive than the seed.
Yeah, I second that.
All in
so
favor?
everybody has to vote.
Aye.
Okay, good.
Opposed?
Second it because they're going back to 7,500.
7,500,
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Hope motioned to revoke the motion. Hope motion to revoke the motion, decrease to 5K.
Mhm.
So Hope motion to
And I second
expend
Hope.
75K.
okay,
All right, so Hope.
7,500.
75K.
No, 7,500.
7,500.
7,500.
are you giving us an extra zero?
You're throwing in 25 on this thing?
Seconded.
I
Okay.
do.
We have to take notes while y'all are talking.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
I'm not gonna motion again, I'm gonna wait until we agree, then I'll motion.
For the first one, I had, Hope seconded the $5,500 of Racial Circle. Who was the motion?
I think I seconded.
I'll do the motion,
Okay,
doesn't matter.
male Jean. Okay, continue, please.
Hopefully we're caught up. We might be wrong on minutes, so.
You'll hear about it if
Try
you
and
are.
remember.
Just, I'm gonna keep moving, because I know
Yes.
we're moving
Yes.
on time here.
Right.
So we have 34,000 left to spend, just to
Mhm.
give you running total, right? We motioned and we agreed, Victoria, that we're not gonna spend money on additional litter control. Okay.
Yeah.
Heritage signs at,
Voting was second, yeah, got
Yes.
that.
okay, heritage signs at county entrances. We had proposed 20K. Chris thinks he can do one sign for $10,000?
In plus installation is 5,
So,
10 in total.
okay, so do we want to spend $10,000 on a county entrance sign? Right, it's
No.
on the road?
That would be 2.
It's gotta be total cost. It's gotta be installation
Plus
and
installation.
construction.
Well, yeah, let me back it up a little bit now. It's 40, I could get the signs built for $5,000 apiece.
Okay.
Now, I've been quoted, I've got the quote. And the installation was gonna be 3, so.
Per sign or in total?
Total. It's pretty simple, we're just gonna set them,
Okay.
but so, you know, I'd like to have a couple $1,000s in there just as a little cushion.
Okay, so 7,500, 5 for the sign, 2,500 for installation?
5 for 2 signs, so 10, 13K.
I think it's 5 per sign.
Per sign.
Yeah.
It's 5 per sign.
And where are they gonna go?
$5,000 per
Where are they gonna
sign
go?
is $10,000.
No,
Out
we're-
on
no, we're
Highway
doing one
17,
sign.
just as you come across the
No, no,
bridge
he-
in Beaufort County.
I get,
Which
you
is
need to
the
be clear for us.
appropriate
I appreciate that. One sign costs $5,000.
Mhm.
Yes.
One installation costs $2,500.
Yes.
Ballparking, right? We're just budgeting here,
Right.
ballparking. Okay, so somebody else propose, or somebody else motion, so I don't
I
have to?
have a question. I
Please,
was
please.
not present when these signs were discussed, and I'm not understanding how they advance our mission.
Chris, they're your signs.
We discussed signs, we have, and I've showed it around the county and to several county council members who approved. It's a replica of a rice trunk,
Oh,
okay? And it's a normal rice trunk is 40 feet long and it's huge. But Nemours Plantation built these smaller ones for a display at a Clemson event. Okay, so when I was out there, I was looking at them and they were beautiful. And I'm going, hey, we should this would be cool. And everybody that I went to Jared, who is over us. What's Jared's last name? Felix.
But it would need to be approved by planning and zoning, and I don't think that aspect was a check-off box.
So we need to do that, agreed.
Yes,
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's the first I've heard of that.
yes.
No,
But I assume somebody else had to approve
Right.
it besides me.
Yeah, anytime you do, that would have to go to the planning and zoning department. And then, if it's an actual physical structure, it also need to go to SRT, which is the stormwater review team.
Yep.
That they would review your.
So like this is not gonna happen.
I moved that we defer the signs to next fiscal year.
Wait,
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, folks.
do we have time to get it done?
Well, that's what
That's-
she
that's
moved
what-
it to
that-
defer till
yeah.
next
I
year.
think we
Okay.
do.
Hope
Well,
this-
no, we could have
think
it
we do.
built
I think
and
we
then
do.
have the money set aside, the 2,500
What
for
if they
it.
never approve it?
But,
Well, that's true, we have to.
but then,
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, discussion that I agree that we probably do not have time to
Yeah.
get all that done
No
this
way,
year.
there's no way.
We should start immediately next year, trying to get that into the budget for that year and get it done early so that we can go through all the steps that we have. So I second Hope's motion that we defer it until next year, but plan on adding it back into the budget for next year.
Okay, that's fine.
I would also like to say that I do think the signs support our mission, are beautiful, and add to the character of our community, so I like the idea.
And again, this was brought to me by members of the county planning, building department, and everybody else. It wasn't my idea. They came to me and said, we want to do a new sign that's really cool.
And we will.
so
And and we will.
So
But
call for
that's,
the.
that's how we
I'm
got to
sorry,
this
I'm calling
point.
for the vote, because we have a motion and a second.
Table it.
All in favor?
I disagree, I vote no to that motion,
Okay,
okay?
Okay.
but it still passed.
Well, of course. Of course. That's why this is fun, you're not gonna get everything you want, right? All right, so, saying that is equivalent to saying no money for signs this year.
Defer to next year.
Yep,
Defer.
okay.
Well,
Got
we
it.
have spent money on signs.
I'm sorry, I have already captured that
Okay.
as a new item called billboards,
Yeah.
okay, and that's $3,000, so I kinda added that even though it wasn't an explicit number in the request last year. Okay, so what we have left, we have administrative costs. So Chris and I just spent money going up to the conference. We talked about shirts. I personally believe we need to create some branding items because we don't have any that I know of. Maybe we've got some in a storage unit somewhere, but I haven't seen anything. So do we want to, you've got $1,500 here, that's not gonna cover the cost of the trip. So how much money do we folks want to put aside for administrative items, including marketing materials?
What is do we know the cost of the trip? Have you submitted your,
5,000, I bet it's 3,000 between the two of us.
between the two?
I agree.
Yeah, it's about that,
Okay.
maybe,
So
yeah,
that
somewhere in
needs
that
to be,
ballpark.
which means that's $3,000.
Well, it's at least, do we want to do anything more? Do we want
Well,
to
I'd like
make
to see-
T-shirts? Do we
I
want
just
to
wanted
make?
to make sure that we were subtracting that.
Yes.
I like the idea of supplying our tents when we were out there
Yep, I do too.
marketing ourselves.
I do too.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Tablecloth.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
So
think we need, if it's administration, that means it would also cover any kind of flyers or
Yes.
stickers.
yes.
I think it needs to be a generous budget, and then if we see that we don't need it all, maybe it could be allocated somewhere else just before June.
You can also buy more flowers, seeds, et cetera, and use it next
Yeah.
year, kind of a thing,
Yeah.
as a stopgap.
We stored the seeds that we
Yeah,
bought
perfect.
last year. 'Cause we
Perfect.
need to spend that money, so.
Okay.
we can-
So what do you think,
So-
10?
So,
That's what we do. For
10 would
not
be-
Materials and supplies, we do a good 10.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that seemed to create some,
Okay, so
some
10
some
total?
cushion. Yeah,
10 total.
that's
All
a
right.
that's
so
pretty close.
you want
I motion that we spend $10,000
For admin.
for administrative
And
and
supplies.
marketing supplies.
I second.
In that annual event up in Myrtle Beach every year with Palmetto Pride that I go to, I've always paid my own way.
Well, you
to?
should.
You should.
Yeah, I should.
And
I
that's-
mean, I've done it 5 times now. It's not, and it's not.
20 then for you?
I'm trying to get there.
He wants a black card is what he really wants.
How much is
That's
your-
next year.
those expenses?
That's next year, though.
Well, it's this summer. Is that next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's next.
June
year.
Well,
30th
depends
is
when it is.
So we need to put that, yeah.
in next year's budget.
Is it after June
You
30th?
know,
After June 30th?
It's September 5th.
$1,500 or something.
It's
not-
September
It's not a
5th.
lot of money.
Okay.
It's
It's
next
like-
year.
it's
You
next
drive
year.
up there, you
Next year.
stay at a
It-
hotel 2 nights.
It's next fiscal
Okay.
year.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
We have a motion on the floor.
And it's been seconded.
It's been seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
So we still have.
Do two, have to be taken.
Okay, so
How much?
we have
This is what we spent so far.
24K to spend. We have improvements to existing landscaped areas is one. Another is adopt a highway program. What is adopt a highway program? Can someone describe what we intended to do with that?
In the past, you provided supplies and materials to adopt a highway group, so the orange signs that say litter crew ahead, that, provide them safety. What else did we?
I'd like to, well, we do an annual luncheon for the Adopt a Highway crew that, I'd like to see be a little,
We're planning it now and it's being held the 21st.
pardon me,
We're planning it now and it's being held on the 21st.
21st of March?
February, yeah, go ahead and pass out. Jesus has to
Yep.
head out, but he had a presentation and
Jesus, we're sorry it took so long. This is just something we gotta do. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So Chris, is your lunch
Thanks.
event, you want to plan different than Victoria's? Thank you very much.
No, but I would like to make sure that it's, you know, these are all these volunteer groups, and we've had these big lunch events, and, you know, they bring a box lunch in there. I mean,
Yeah,
could
yeah.
we spend a little more money than that? I mean, just maybe
How many people are there typically?
how many people come to that event, Victoria?
I think right now we have about 50 that are registered for the event next week. We have about 87 adopted highway crews. But, food is a special item. We're not purchasing the food, Palmetto Pride is purchasing the food, because you have to get county administrator approval if you use county funds for purchasing goods like that.
Okay, well, that's.
So we can't spend money on it.
So we can't spend.
Typically the adopt a highway supplies would be the roadside signs, so if you are on a county road that you're picking up on, similar to what DOT does, how they have this road has been adopted by this group. We purchase those roadside signs for county roads, so those funds go towards that as well.
Would funds also be for the orange vest and the picker-uppers, or is that out of Palmetto Pride funding?
Yeah, all of those are funded by Palmetto Pride. So, the vest, the bags, and the grabbers, Palmetto Pride funds those. The Adopt a Highway supplies is primarily the safety signs, the orange ones. And then, off the top of my head, without looking at the list of what we've received, for Adopt a Highway in the past, but, the award
Do you have any idea how much we have given in the past so that we can put a number to this?
For Palmetto Pride, 5K.
Was there anything I'm sorry.
They have a lot of the materials already.
They do.
Was there anything you requested that you did not get that you would like to get?
Yes.
Through Palmetto Pride, no. Recently, we applied for a grant. We've received the grant award, and we're asking committee on the 18th if we can accept it. And that's also to assist, so we're gonna buy more of those orange signs. They're expensive, and we don't have enough for each group, really, unless they, stagger their pickups. So that's our biggest goal right now, is to improve the safety and to purchase more of those orange roadside signs, because they are pretty costly per sign.
How much?
Around $470 for just the sign, and then the stand is like $80 to $90.
Are those the really heavy ones?
We've changed. We get the ones that fold down now, and they're more compact, and they're made of like a mesh material. So it's not
Okay,
metal.
because we borrowed one once and it was so heavy,
Well, that's-
we needed
yeah,
two
that's why
people
the-
to carry
Yeah,
it.
the new ones are a bit more costly because they're made of better lightweight.
Okay, okay.
Victoria, could we spend $1,500 on the tent that would show our logo?
We would need, so for your branded items, I wrote down tents, tables, tablecloth, hay, fees, and then et cetera materials. So I put that already under your administrative costs.
Okay.
Okay. So we have that flexibility of getting that done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris, I have to go, I'm
I
sorry.
see you, kiddo. Drive carefully. Thank you for coming.
Another meeting at 4. Get back to it.
How many signs do you need?
Shoot, is it on quorum?
Oh,
How many?
I've got another meeting I have to get to.
Understood.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6.
6, okay.
No, we're good.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
I am, sorry.
Yeah.
There's 6 too, though. We're running on close to 2 hours.
Yeah.
So how about I propose $3,000 for Adopt
Yeah,
a Highway
that's good.
support?
I loved everything.
I moved for 3,000.
Okay. Second,
Got to make some decisions here.
vote,
All in favor?
Aye.
3,000 for Adopt a Highway. Sold. All right, we have 21,000 left. Improvements to existing landscaped areas. Anybody know what that,
I don't even know where those are.
Yeah,
Nobody knows what
I'll
that
be
is?
honest, we were just fishing around. I can't put my finger on it, but
okay?
one thought was my thought originally, back when we did it, was that when you go across the Broad River Bridge on both sides, the DOT does the little landscape projects, and they're all kind of not so pretty anymore. But I'm telling you, you have to go through hoops to get it done. I mean, it's,
We have money to do it.
well, yeah, we do.
You originally
We have
budgeted,
time to do it.
Yeah,
I
time
think
and
you have time.
patience.
Yeah, June 30th is still
Mhm.
3 months away, so.
Do we have a list of potential sites to target?
Well, that's the only one I targeted, and of course, because I'm reluctant to target my world too much, because we try to do a lot at Gardens Corner as it is. So I was hoping,
We can figure that out later. I think it's a
Yeah.
question of, do we want to put money toward it?
yeah.
Yes.
And I apologize for going back, but we decided 0 for the entry signs,
This
for
year.
the county entry signs, 0 for that.
Right.
Okay, so you originally asked for 5,500 for improvement to landscaped areas. Want to just keep it at 55?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that good? Oh, so,
Okay, I move we keep that particular
I second.
part at
All in favor?
$5,500.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye?
okay.
Okay, good.
We have 15,500 left. I think we might consider putting it into administrative costs. And then before we meet next time, we can reallocate dollars, right? It's okay that we do that,
Okay, let's do that.
right? And
So
are
we've
we
got
gonna-
a complete budget
yeah,
here.
just so we have a complete budget.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay?
good idea.
You're
Is that good?
allocating how much?
15,000.
15,500
15,500.
additional to the administrative costs. But next time we get together, we should think through what is we want to spend the money on.
Yeah.
I so move.
I
I
second.
second.
All in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
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 So administrative is now
Good.
25,500.
I'm going to have to leave in 5 minutes because I have another
Okay.
meeting.
All right, I'll be really quick if we're done with finance, or with the
We are.
staff updates.
Okay.
Okay, so I already said, applications for
Okay.
You'll receive all the information that you've requested. What I request from you is that you do your due diligence, get the quotes, so we can move forward with all of this.
So,
Everybody in this room is understanding that it is your responsibility to obtain the quotes for the materials that you're wanting to do, what you're wanting to buy.
so Chris, after this, whoever is the lead of each of the different committees needs to sign up for full responsibility for each one of these line items.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Somebody
so-
has to own improvements to existing landscape areas. Somebody has to individually own that.
Someone should know where
So
those,
that's
those
another
spots are.
point.
That would be good.
That'd be a good start.
Yep,
That's
but,
another point I want to make because there were issues with the subcommittees. So what we had were in education, it was McPhee, Reeds, and Murphy. And then there was a change. Bogey wanted to be on education, correct? That was where you were?
And Pam Floyd did not.
And Floyd did not. So I don't have Floyd in education on my notes.
Well, on what I printed offline, it had me on there.
Okay,
So I was like, where'd that come from?
okay. So then legislation, I've got Cunningham, McPhee, and Reeds,
And I should be on that as well.
and Bogey's on that as well. And then beautification, Campbell, Floyd, Cunningham, Zeppel,
Zepfel,
Sep-
correct?
that's me, yep.
Yep, yes.
All right, and then finance, Campbell, Zeppel, and Bartholow and McPhee.
That's correct.
And
Okay,
then I wanted to be on finance.
okay, and then we're adding Floyd to finance.
And we need to
then
find
Murphy's
out,
Murphy's on education.
We
And
need
she's
to
not
find
here,
out-
So she wants to be added to one.
Dr. Jean, where, because she's not on a single one.
Yeah, she wasn't at the last meeting.
Right.
So she
Yep.
didn't call her name. So Frew and Murphy will need to sign up for those subcommittees.
Yep, so can you do that?
Yes,
Get to those two and say, where do you want to play?
okay.
And then please let us know
Okay.
so we can update.
And then-
Dr. Jean, and who else
The
was it?
finance
Carol.
team,
Carol.
I'll be
Yeah.
reaching out to you, but the other,
Carol's health is so bad, I'm
you need
worried
to
about
reach
her.
out to each other to make sure that you are meeting on our off months.
Yep.
March.
Okay, we need to vote on chair and co-chair. This is something that we're supposed to do every 2 years. So we need an updated vote on who's going to be our chair and who's going to be our co-chair. Does anybody have a nomination? Floor is open for nominations.
I nominate Chris Campbell for chair.
Do you want it?
If he'll accept.
If
Yeah,
like
do you
that.
want it?
I've been doing it a long time, guys. If anybody else would like to be chairman, it's not
A
gonna
lot
hurt
of
my,
people left.
it's not gonna hurt my feelings, But
Any other
I will do it,
nominations?
but this youth.
You said you will do it, though?
Does the vote
Yeah.
have to happen this month?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
we're 2 years past due.
I vote for Chris.
I'm-
You
Well,
said it-
we
So
haven't,
we
You said
have
he'll
to
do it.
get-
Is-
We have to get a
You're
second
great.
for the nomination first. Does anybody second?
I
that?
second it.
Okay, after we second it, now we're going around and getting the vote. So,
Aye.
Wait,
you
I,
have to state your name
okay.
and that you're voting for him.
Gene Zepfel, I vote for Chris.
Diane Vogel, I vote for Chris Campbell.
Pam Floyd, I vote for Chris Campbell.
Ford Bartholow, I vote for Chris Campbell.
Hope Cunningham, I vote for Chris Campbell.
All right.
Thank you all.
And that's a unanimous vote, right? Yeah, you're supposed to. Bow, bow.
I
Now
love
you
you.
get the gavel in.
Well, thank you very
Okay,
much.
so we've
I am
updated-
humbled by it, but
We've updated our subcommittees, we've updated that, what was it?
who's co-chair?
Co-chair. Gotta get-
Now it's a
Oh, wait,
co-chair.
Yeah.
Nomination for co-chair?
I nominate Gene Zepfel.
If he'll accept.
I
If
second.
he'll
You
accept.
accept it.
That was awfully quick. You're tying me at the hip to this guy, so
You're
I'll
already
do
there.
it.
You're
I'll do
already
it.
there.
I was just looking for how to pronounce your name so I could.
I
do
appreciate
that.
it.
Yeah.
Second.
Zepfel. All right,
Yep.
so we have a second, all right, and now we're voting Ms. Bogey.
I vote for Gene Zepfel.
Pam Floyd, I vote for Jean Seffel.
I vote for Gene Zepfel.
Chris Campbell, Gene Seffel.
Hope Cunningham, Jean Zephyr.
All right.
Ooh, check mark over that, all right.
That would be a lot of
My wife told me,
So
don't come home with any more
I
responsibility.
usually have to do,
Sorry.
I can't do this.
Sorry,
Brain
so, point of order.
So if you're on Adopt a Highway and you haven't received that registration link, you have Jesus' information. He has sent that link out to your Adopt a Highway lead, if you will. abided by Palmetto Pride. It's actually a requirement annually that we do for the Adopted Highway groups. And it's also going to be an award ceremony, and there will be lunch provided. And it is in Bluffton at the Buckwalter Recreation Center. I believe that's everything. I updated you about the wildflower seed planting, the litter event. Valentina's got a lot of great things on education and outreach. If you want more information, reach out to me and we'll give you that. I believe you got the email about the I-2 tours. Again, the budget request applications are due April 9th. Finance Committee will be meeting and we'll review all of that, everything that you need to know to be able to submit that. We voted for chair and co-chair. And then we need you to look at this sheet down here and make sure we have all of your information. We have nobody's physical addresses, and we do need that for the boards and commission. So please look at that sheet and update that accordingly. And then once we get that, we can send it out to the groups, so you all have everybody's information in another place. And we've confirmed subcommittees. Haven't forgotten anything. Open for the chair to adjourn.
Everybody
Vote for adjournment?
Vote for adjournment.
Adjourn.
passes. Thank you.
Third.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.